Good morning, Force followers. I'm so excited to be here with you today. This is not live. We are recording this. This is a re-record of the interview that I did with Emily earlier today. I apparently haven't been able to figure out how to make sure there's no background noise or an echo. But like I said, this is in my live. This is my first interview, and so the echo was what's the word? Overlooked. And so because of that, I want to bring you a better quality video, and we're going to share with you now a re-record of our interview. So I wanted to let you guys know that these boxes behind me right here are something that I'm super excited about. We are 4 days away from practice, and those are our brand new volleyballs. Yes, one of those boxes is completely full of our new practice balls. They are deflated, and so that's why they fit in that little box. But I'm so excited about our coaches coming over tomorrow to my house to to inflate the balls. I said pump up the balls, I think, in the last one, but we will be inflating the balls, and we will also be going through and um, sorting all of the girls' practice shirts for them to receive at practice on Monday. So, with practice only being 4 days away, I can't be more excited than I am right now. This season is going to be fantastic, and I'm elated. I can't wait. All right, so the reason for our interview today is to meet this amazing lady, Emily, and she comes to us. Well, she doesn't come to us. She used to coach at Force and has been a part of the Force family for quite a while. Um, Emily went to UTSA after 2 years at UT Tyler, and she got her bachelor's degree in psychology. And while she was there, that's when she joined our Force family, and she coached at San Antonio Force. After that, she moved to Dallas, where she got her master's in counseling from TCU. I will not say go Horned Frogs. But once she completed her master's, she came back to Waller, where she's from, as a licensed professional counselor, and she specializes in eating disorders and sports performance issues with athletes. Um, Emily coached with us last year, but she is taking this year off to focus on growing her family and her personal counseling business. And so, with that, I'm going to bring her in, and we're going to get talking about uh, the mindset in which going into your club season. All right. Hey, Emily.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy to join and kind of be back with the Houston Force family again, at least for a little bit.
Yes. Um, so I introduced you, and I wanted you to tell us a little bit about your volleyball background. Like, where did you play high school? Where did you play club and college? And just give us a little info on your volleyball background.
Yeah, so like you said, I grew up here in Waller, so really small town outside of the Katy Cypress area, and played high school volleyball for Waller High School. I actually didn't get into club until fairly late in what I consider those that are kind of wanting to go play college ball. I actually didn't start playing club until my freshman year, and not even really very competitively until my sophomore year of high school.
Hmm.
So I played for a local team my freshman year, and then my sophomore year, I moved on to Willowbrook and played with Willowbrook for the next couple of years.
Yes, and like I said before, that's something you and I both have in common. We
Yeah.
both played for Willowbrook, and you played for Scott Mayhew, right?
So I did not
Oh,
actually. I did not have the pleasure of playing for Scott at my time at Willowbrook. So, well,
but
you
you
know.
know of him.
Oh yes,
Yes,
yes, I
yes.
do
All
know of
right.
Scott.
That's who I played for 3 years, and so you know who I'm
Yeah,
talking about when I say
I sure do.
Willowbrook and Scott.
I sure do. I sure do. So, but yeah, so from there, I got recruited to go play at UT Tyler, and I know you and I talked a little bit about kind of my unique experience with playing college volleyball because I had the opportunity to play at a D3 level and then also play at a D1 level, which I know y'all talked about last week on your live and kind of the
Yeah.
difference between those. So
So I'll be honest, I didn't even know UT Tyler was a D3. I actually thought it was a JUCO.
yeah, and honestly, I had never heard of UT Tyler prior to looking at schools. They're really Tyler's more known for their junior college, Tyler
Yeah.
Junior College.
Okay,
But
that's
yeah,
why.
so yeah. So they're D3. I didn't go there on an athletic scholarship because you can't get one at that level, but I did
Right.
go. I got some athletic or some academic scholarships. So played there and kind of the conversation we had earlier of just the difference between the two. We talked about I went in as a freshman starting my freshman year, and I played in every single game my freshman and sophomore year.
Hmm.
Maybe missed one or two matches because of an injury or whatnot, but played all the time and did really well and was really successful there. And
Yeah.
then did transfer to
Yeah.
UTSA, which is a Division One.
Why did you transfer?
Yeah. So, you know, as an athlete, I think there is this really weird kind of thing that's put into our head that in order to make it and to be an athlete and be a college athlete, you got to play Division One. And I never really heard that a lot from my parents. Like Division One was not pushed. Like
Hmm.
I had to play Division One. I wanted to, and that was a goal of mine. But I almost feel like that kind of stigma and that idea that you had to play D1 came a little bit from club,
Yeah.
where those girls that were going to D1 schools were the big shots and received a lot of attention and praise, whereas those of us that went to a smaller school like a D3 school, it kind of in my mind felt like we didn't make it, like
Sure.
we weren't good enough. But I I had a very unique experience of having played both and kind of the perspective of both divisions. So,
Yeah. And I thought of this question after we were done. So you went to a 4-year D3 school and you
mhm,
transferred to a 4-year D1 school, and you mentioned before that you would have, now looking back, you would have preferred to have stayed at UT Tyler because you would have had
mhm,
a better playing experience. But what would be like one thing that you would, because I was talking about going JUCO and then you have to
mhm,
transfer in and do the whole like claiming your spot, kind of like what you had to do. Um, if you choose to go to a D1 school after JUCO, what would be like something that what would be some advice you would give to an athlete that is like, I don't really want to go JUCO, but then I'm here pushing it and then transferring into D1? Like, what would be your advice to somebody that makes that transfer, and how do they do it successfully? And do you get what I'm saying?
I
Do it
do,
successfully
yeah,
and like
and
actually earn a spot.
I actually tried out for a JUCO when I was in high school. My senior year, I went to an open tryout at Blinn,
Oh, nice.
um, which I will tell you, a lot of JUCOs are extremely competitive. I mean, like Blinn College was winning national championships
Yeah.
for years. I mean, and like Tyler Junior College, we played them and got annihilated by Tyler Junior College. They had all of these foreigners in that were awesome because they come in and
Yeah.
need to get a little bit more padding in their GPA before
Yeah.
they can go on and play. And so the experience of being able to go to like a junior college and have the potential to start because you're coming in with juniors and sophomore, or I'm sorry, freshmen and sophomores. So they don't have a lot more playing experience than you do anyway. So
Hmm.
being able to go and play and get a lot of playing time and potentially start sets you up for being able to then try out or walk on or be recruited by a Division 2, Division 1. I mean, even a Division 3, university and better prepare you to earn your spot and to be able to play.
Yeah. Good. Awesome. Well, that wasn't why we had you here to talk about that, but it's a very great insight because um, I can always give my experience, but it's nice to hear somebody else's experience too. Um, so what we are here to talk about is mindset and to going into your club season. And so, what are three tips that you would give today's athlete that's going to be starting their club season in 4 days or a month? What would you mindset tips? What would you give them?
Yeah, and we all know we are in just like a very weird time right now, with so many people not even getting to play high school ball, like, or their high school ball was cut short, doing online schooling, just all of these things that create a lot of added stress and anxiety on top of like what teenagers nowadays already experience. And
Yeah,
so I think it's really important as we go into club, we're adding something else to our plate. We're adding additional time, additional energy. And so being able to go in and manage any stress or anxiety that you're already feeling with really good and proper like time management techniques. Because if you're coming into club practice feeling so overwhelmed, so stressed out from school or outside life, you have so much less brain power and energy to put into volleyball.
yeah, exactly. And if you could learn today how to be better with your time management for school and club and everything that goes on, you're like setting yourself up for life, right?
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
because as an adult, I obviously wasn't very good at this in high school and college. And so it's taken me in my 30s to figure out how to be better at managing my time.
Mhm.
And if you can learn that when you're 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, especially once you're in high school, then it alleviates a lot of what we call stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
And the one thing I hate hearing is a 15-year-old stressed. Like, I'm like,
Ugh,
you don't
I
even know what
know.
stress is, like, right?
I
But
know.
we give ourselves they put themselves in such situations with their classes, and we keep, we're adding club volleyball onto their plate, like you said.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, eliminating stress and anxiety by learning and mastering time management is very important.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah, and because you're for those that do want to go play in college, you're going to have to manage, missing classes and
Hmm.
being able to make sure because you're traveling or whatever and being able to take all of that on and still be the best athlete that you can. And so learn early, and it's really just like figuring out what are the things that like I can control right now? Like, what are the things I can check off my list? And what are the things that I need to just table for the time being? Because I have no control over them. I can't do anything about it. Right.
Yeah,
Like, starting to work on not holding all of that on and being able to kind of say, okay, I'm going to put that aside because I can't do anything about it right now.
right. And also learning the difference between what you can
Yes.
deal with and those things that you can't, deal
Mm-hmm.
with at the moment. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, what's tip number two?
Yeah, so number two, we've talked about like the mental game, right? And we talked about before how that's kind of how I got into the career path that I'm in is I just really struggled with my mental game, and it caused me not to be able to play when I was at UTSA. I believe that. And so being able to start now like I wish I would have had someone at 13, 14 teaching me how to build my mental game. And so part of some ways we can do that, we talk about self-talk and that inner
Yeah.
dialogue. We both really love the self-talk and what we have to do is we have to be aware of that self-talk. So going into
Right.
practice, being aware of how often when I make a mistake, what is my immediate thought? Am I immediately, degrading myself and bashing on myself for messing up? And if I am, I'm really working on being aware of that so that I can start interrupting that sooner. So I can start going, oh man, I'm like starting to really be negative towards myself. Let me either like brush that off, or let me replace that with something positive.
Yeah, positive talk is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think that we as humans or even athletes half the time even know that we're negatively talking about something.
No, we
Like
don't.
I, as a coach, I always try and eliminate the word like don't do something. And I talk about
Yeah.
the do and figuring out how to do the positive part of that. Like, don't miss your serve. That's
Mm-hmm.
not the right phrase. It's like, let's go back
No.
there, focus, and make our serve, right? And
Yeah.
so I love that, learning and starting to really get in tune with your inner talk and your and what how you react as an athlete to your own mistakes is really
Mm-hmm.
important. So starting that
And
now is important.
yeah, and it sounds really simple, like, oh, like let me just say something positive about myself, but it's hard. And it takes practice. And that's one
It
thing when I'm
does.
working with athletes, I'm like, look, you have to look at your brain and your mental game as any other muscle in your body. You have to
Hmm.
train it, and you have to work at it, and you have to create these habits so that when you're in the middle of a tight game, it's 24-24, and you go back to serve, you have the mental strength to be able to make your serve and not go back there being so afraid or so scared that you're going to mess up or you're going to miss your serve.
Right. Exactly. That's perfect. I love it. All right. And now tip number 3.
Yeah, so we talked about this earlier, and I really think this one is so, so important. And I think it's sometimes the hardest thing for us to do. But I think we really need to get better at asking for help. And that can be asking for help from our coaches, from our family, from friends, but from teammates too.
Yes.
So we're all, we all deal with stress. We all deal with just like life that happens. And so if I'm going into practice and it's really hard for me to let that go, being able to, talk with a teammate and ask for some support, and talk with your coach and ask for some support as well. Not being afraid of like it's going to affect your playing time or it's going to make me look weak in front of my coach, being able to be the person to
Hmm.
ask for help, but also being the teammate that you're the your teammates around you can go to you and ask for support. And so trying to be that person for others as well.
Yeah. And I mentioned earlier, I always try really hard as a coach to be open and like let the athletes know that there is this space to come and
Mhm.
ask for help. But as you mentioned, it can be tough for a kid to want to ask an adult or
Yeah.
the coach for help. And so being able to have those communications and those talks with your teammates is super important. And it
Mhm.
takes courage as an athlete to
It
do that.
does.
And I
Yeah.
think that makes you, a better teammate is when you,
Mhm.
one, are accepting of that, and two, you're able to also do it because
Yeah.
then people feel comfortable coming to you as well. So awesome. So
Yeah.
let's recap that tip 1 was to
Work
time
on
management.
time management. Yeah.
Yes.
So figuring out how to manage your stress and anxiety with better time management skills.
Perfect. And number 2,
Yeah, number two, work on your mental game. Start doing that now. Start practicing being aware of the thoughts that you're having and the way that you're feeling during practice, so that the more awareness you build, the easier it is for you to really be able to interrupt those negative thoughts when they do happen, because they're going to.
yes.
And we just the difference between a really mentally strong athlete is that they're able to do that much quicker. They're able to interrupt that much faster than an athlete with really poor mental strength.
Perfect. And then number 3 was, remind me.
Yeah, ask for help.
Oh,
Ask for help when
yes.
you need it, you
I
know?
just asked you for some help, right?
That's right. See, it wasn't that hard. But
Right,
yeah, ask for help
exactly.
and be the teammate that's willing to help if you see a teammate struggling.
Perfect. I love it. All right. So tell us how we could get a hold of you if we wanted your
Yeah.
expertise.
Yeah, so probably the best way to get a hold of me right now is through email. I'm happy to, talk more about what I do, or even, scheduling a session. I'm doing virtual sessions right now. I think it's really easy and convenient for people because they
It
can do it
is.
from their home. And so, yeah, my email is my first name, Emily, Emily. my last name Urbaniak, which I was really proud you did say it right earlier this morning. And I'll spell that for you guys, but it's Urbaniak LPC at gmail.com.
Perfect. And we will put that in the comments below
Yeah.
when this is posted. And then tell me one quick reason why an athlete would want to come see you.
Yeah, I love this question because I think so often as parents, we're so willing to buy the best sports equipment and take our kids to private lessons to become a better athlete when we so often neglect the biggest muscle and the biggest part of our game, which is our brain. And so for me, that's my job. That is my job to help athletes become more mentally tough, to build that mental game so that they are the ones that when a coach is sending you back to serve for game point, they aren't worried that you're going to be the kid that's really nervous back there and going to miss a serve.
Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you, Emily, so much for joining me for a
Yeah,
second time today.
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but I think that this one was just as great, and it's definitely going to
Yeah,
sound a lot better. So
yeah.
I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to give my announcements, and I hope to see
Okay.
you on my staff again next year.
Yeah. So you guys let me know if y'all need anything.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, guys. Well, that was Emily, and she is fantastic. So if you need anything regarding mental clarity and like how to be a better athlete with your mental game, she's definitely somebody to talk to. Really quick, just wanted to let you know that volleyball starts next week, November 14th. This is our 5-week program for 4th through 7th graders. We will be meeting on Saturdays, except for the week after Thanksgiving. We will meet on Sunday. The program is from 12:30 to 2 every week. And if you participate in volleyball, then you get the exclusive opportunity to compete in our mini club experience. This will be, depending on your age, a 12 or 15-week program where you are a part of a team and playing in tournaments. If you have any questions, comment below, and I hope to see you soon. And next week, join me live right here on Facebook. We will be going over where do you start when your kid wants to play volleyball. Um, this doesn't necessarily go to the kids who are already in our club program, but I do believe it's very important, and I want to talk about it. I will see you next Thursday, and thank you for tuning in. Bye.